Hello and welcome to another video. This is Shinome Station. It's a small rural station on the Yamaguchi Line. These days it's a very quiet station with only a handful of passengers each day. It's in the middle of farmland, surrounded by lush greenery. Nevertheless, despite its peaceful setting, Shinome Station played an important role in the railway history of this part of Japan. The station opened on the 1st of July 1917 as the Yamaguchi Line was extended towards Masuda through the mountains of central Yamaguchi Prefecture. When it opened, it was the terminus of the line until April the 28th of the following year, when the line was extended further to Mitani Station. Now, normally, a small intermediate station on a relatively rural line like the Yamaguchi Line would be nothing more than a footnote. But Shinome is rather more noteworthy. It became well known and relatively important because of its location. You see, it's located at the end of a steep gradient up from Niho Station. Between Niho Station and here, Shinome, the railway climbs at a maximum gradient of 1 in 25. Now that means that the railway gains 1 meter in height for every 25 meters travelled horizontally. This was considered a steep grade for a conventional Japanese main line, especially for steam locomotives hauling heavy trains. It certainly sounds pretty steep. Now, during the era of steam locomotives, climbing the gradient up from Niho to here, Shinome, depleted the locomotive's supply of water significantly. And in addition, the large amounts of coal burnt meant that correspondingly large amounts of ash built up in the locomotive's firebox. Therefore, steam locomotive services travelling up the line, so from Yamaguchi towards Masuda, tended to make an extended stop here at Shinome, during which time the locomotive's water tender was replenished and ash was removed from the firebox. And to replenish the water, the station had, and indeed still has, a water tower built in 1922. Anyway, the need for water replenishment and ash removal meant that Shinome was one of the busiest operational points on the whole of the Yamaguchi Line, despite the station itself only serving a small rural community. Steam locomotives were used on the Yamaguchi Line until 1973, and today all normal trains are diesel-powered. The line is not electrified. There is the famous steam train service connecting Shin Yamaguchi and Suwano. It's called the SL Yamaguchi service. But even this doesn't use the tower at Shinome to take on water. The water tower therefore no longer contains any functioning pumps or other equipment, but it remains as a reminder of the age of steam operation, and that is something to be very grateful for. You know, in general, it's very sobering to think how different the station is now compared to how it was back in its heyday. First, as road transportation has replaced much local rail travel, passenger numbers have declined dramatically. Even in 1999, there was an average of 37 passengers a day using this station. Not a huge amount, but in contrast, in 2022, the station saw just 4 passengers a day. It should go without saying that the station is unstaffed. Equally, the station's railway importance has also declined. The introduction of diesel locomotives and diesel multiple units during the 1960s and 1970s eliminated the need for all the maintenance associated with steam operation. Yet, despite its small size, Shinome Station is one of the most historically significant stations on the Yamaguchi Line, and that's because of its central role in steam locomotive era railway operations. The station is important not because it served a large town, but because it was an essential operating point on one of Western Japan's most demanding mountain crossing railways. So, with its water tower surviving and the SL Yamaguchi steam locomotive service passing through the station, Shinome is a wonderful place to get a glimpse of how the Yamaguchi line used to be. As I say so often in videos like this though, there's no telling how much longer rural railways like the Yamaguchi Line will survive. It would be a crying shame if stations like this were to disappear. But realistically, there is at least a possibility that sometime in the next decades, the Yamaguchi Line itself and all the railway history that survives in places like Shinome, even if intangibly, will be lost. Let's just hope that this possibility never becomes a reality. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching as ever, and I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave a comment or a like if you did enjoy it, and as ever, I would appreciate it if you would consider also subscribing. I will see you in the next video very soon, but for now, from Shinome and from the Yamaguchi Line, goodbye.